Good morning, grandkids. Well, we're ready to read another chapter in my book about Dorkly, the young wizard, in a land far, far away. We're on chapter 15 today. And remember, a couple of, I don't know how many chapters back, he was at the gate and how the guards like to pester him and open the gates real slow, and he has to wait and wait, and they stand up there on top of the wall and laugh. Irritates him. Well, we shall see what happens in the story today. Meanwhile, at this late hour of the morning, Othala was still in bed. She was awake with a dreamy smile on her face. She had spent half the night at a party with William. As they enjoyed their time together, eating, drinking, and dancing, Othala could tell that William's mind was seriously absorbed, and finally she asked him about it. That was what set his stammering lips to ask her to marry him. She smiled some more, stretching her arms over her head. She realized the day was wasting away, and she wanted them. I lost my place just that quick. And she wanted to both see her father for them both to see her father for his permission for them to marry. So she jumped out of bed, humming a silly tune, and started preparing for what was left of the day. Dermis and Mandy were still strolling hand in hand along the beach when Dermis heard someone call to him. While Mandy was stooped down looking at a lovely seashell in the sand, Dermis turned and looked up at their spire against the palace wall and saw a worker hanging out the window, motioning to him to come in and calling down to him, "Come, show me what all you want done. The king has left it all in your hands." Dermis grinned and turned to Mandy. "Come, we get to tell the workers what all we want done in our new home." Mandy was excited hearing this and turned to show Dermis what she held in her hand. "I have found the perfect shell to carry back to our new home and keep in a special place." Dermis looked at a curling shell in colors of pink and cream with charming specks throughout. "The curling looks like the continuation of our life together, and the specks are all the different events of joy and sorrow that we shall face together." He drew Mandy into his arms and kissed her. They heard clapping behind them and turned back to the palace. 3 workers were now at their window, looking at them and clapping and cheering. They laughed and hurried back up the hill. Dorkly was on his way out to see the guards at the outer gate. He was literally rolling his hands together, talking to himself out loud, grinning and laughing all at the same time. This was going to be so great. He approached the outer gate, looking up at the guards on the wall. They were grinning and watching him, just waiting for him to try to open the gates, holding their shields, swords up against their shoulders. Dorkly readied his spell, his hands rolling round and round as he mumbled the words. He looked up at the guards, grinned, wiggling his eyebrows at them, then threw his hands out at the gate. A blue magical flame shot out into the gate and sort of exploded. The gate slammed open, breaking one of the hinges. Dorkly was laughing so hard he was bent over with his hands on his knees. He raised up and looked at the guards. They were standing there with their eyes bugged out, mouths hanging open, and their arms and weapons were just simply hanging down at their sides. "See ya," Dorkly called up at them as he walked out the gate. Gorman had dressed and was on his way across to the courtroom. A guard approached him. "Hey, Gorman, the king sent me to find out where you were. He's in his small side room and has lunch and drinks ready for the two of you." Excuse me, guys. "Thanks," Gorman said. "I'm headed there now," and he hurried on his way. Gorman walked into the side chamber and sat down by the king. He could tell Connolly was a little upset, so he decided to get straight to it. "Sorry, my king, but I just couldn't seem to get myself moving this morning. The truth be known, I've been feeling, well, not quite myself lately. Sorry if you needed me this morning." King Connolly looked at him with a slight frown on his face. "No, I didn't need you, but I'm so used to you being at my side, I was wondering if something was wrong. I've got food and drink here. Help yourself. Tell me about this feeling that you're having." Wizard Gorman was slumped in his chair. His long hair and beard was mussed as though he hadn't bothered to comb them, and his eyes looked a little red. "I just haven't been feeling well, and I've been having a hard time sleeping. It hasn't been all the time, just once in a while. Seems to come and go." "Well, have you seen one of the healers? Finding out what's going on?" the king was asking, still with the frown. No, I haven't. Just a little tired is all." "Well, you should," Conley said with authority. "You're my friend. Besides, my wizard. I feel responsible for you. If you're having some kind of trouble, we need to get it taken care of." I will," the wizard said, waving his wand around and reaching over for a sandwich. The king sighed and let it go for now. He started talking to him about Dermis and Mandy and having the back spire fixed up for them. At his request, I might add. At least they aren't wanting to move off somewhere else, and he smiled contentedly. Then his frown returned as he looked over at his friend and saw a slight grimace on his face and his hand clutching at his side. Outside the city gate, still laughing at the dumbfounded guards, Dorkly gets his horse Cheesy at the stables, feeds him a handful of cheese, to the horse's delight, jumps on his back and walks down the road. But he stops at the small hovel where the family of his friend, Boots, are living. He spotted Boots sitting at an outside table, whittling on a piece of wood. Dorkly threw a leg over the bench and sat down beside him. "How you doing, Boots? Did you see me take care of those guards back there?" "I sure did," Boots exclaimed. "I was laughing so hard I nearly fell off this bench." "You sure showed them who's boss. Did you see the look on their faces?" And they both started laughing again. "Hey," Dorkly finally said, picking up an apple off the table and biting into it. "Want to ride with me up to the Longport? Maybe stay overnight and head back tomorrow?" "Sure. Let me run in and ask Ma." He ran in, hollering, "Hey, Ma, Ma." Dorkly smiled and kept nibbling on his apple while he waited. And that's the end of today's episode. It's kind of a short one today, but Dorkly got to take care of them guards, didn't he? So I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye, grandkids.